but we are up live on Facebook. We're going to do our fourth and final installment of this particular series that we've got going on, which, as you know, you should know if you've been watching, you know that we've been learning a lot about solutions, okay? And a solution, ladies, gentlemen, and person, yes? A solution is a solid and a liquid together, combined together in a special way, okay? It's a situation where the solute, as in the solid, has evenly distributed, has dissolved completely into that liquid, and it looks like the solid has disappeared. But in fact, it has not. It has not disappeared. It has become a super special situation. And what's really fun, y'all, about solutions is that we can use solutions to do various things. And in particular, today, we're actually going to use our solution to go back to the first episode of 2021 and make some more crystals, right? So in that episode, I showed you actually how to use this National Geographic's kit to make solutions, not solutions, forgive me, to make like this little crystal tree. And the crystals on that are actually quite fragile. They're like you could blow on it and like the crystals kind of like fall off. But these crystals, the crystals we're going to form today, are going to be made out of products that are not quite so fragile. And so they're going to form and they're going to stick and be cool. Yeah. And so what I want to do first is a little something I haven't done with y'all since last year. I know, okay, last year was only a month ago, but it's still fun to say that, okay? So yeah, welcome to Science with Miss Steph. Hey, Miss Steph here, and we're going to do a little singing. So it's a call and response. So I sing something, and then you sing it back, and know that just because you're on the interwebs doesn't mean I don't know that you're not singing. So come on, people. All right, so I'm going to say something, and then you say something. We're doing the states that matter, people. You ready? Ha! I say the states matter. I know are solid, liquid, and gas. Yeah, the states matter. I know are solid, liquid, and gas. Energy and matter we use every day. Energy and matter we use every day. Say, y'all. The states matter. I know are solid, liquid, and gas. The states matter. I know are solid, liquid, and gas. Yeah, energy and matter we use every day. Energy and matter we use every day. Come on. The states matter, I know. Y'all got to say it back. Are solid, liquid, and gas. The states matter, I know. Are solid, liquid, and gas. Well, energy and matter we use every day. Energy and matter we use every day. The states matter, I know. I know y'all are doing it. Are solid, liquid, and gas. The states matter, I know. Are solid, liquid, and gas. Yes, 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 yes. Those are three of the states of matter. Now, for my like really serious doctoral level scientists, y'all know that there's plasma, there's all the other things. But Around these parts, we primarily deal with those three: solid, liquid, and gas. And as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be rocking out with our friends solid and liquid today. We're going to combine them in a special way to help us develop and form what's called a super saturated solution, people. Okay, here's the thing. When we're trying to make crystals, we need the solution to be super saturated. Okay, and I'm going to show you what super saturated means, because you're probably saying to yourselves, Ms. I don't know what that means, and you just sound all kinds of silly. Well, guess what? I'm going to show you what super saturated means. Okay, so first thing, I have a little machinery down here today, okay? The first thing that's going to help us create this super saturated solution is that my liquid needs to be caliente. It needs to be very hot, not just touch warm. It needs to be hot. Hot. So as you can imagine, the safe thing and the responsible thing for me to do would be to tell y'all to make sure you have an adult with you when you're doing this activity, because you need the water, we're using water as our liquid today, to be really, really hot. Okay. And you don't have to boil the water. As far as boil it on the stove top, I'm actually going to use an electric tea kettle, which is here, here, okay, here, for all my friends down there. Okay, it's my electric tea kettle. Equipment. Okay. I'm going to use that to heat up my water and to bring my water to boiling. The water has to be boiling. Have I said that enough? Did I make that clear enough? When we're making a super saturated solution, it means that we don't just put a little bit or a lot of the solute, of the solid. We put a plethora. We put as much solid into that liquid as will dissolve. So we keep pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring and mixing our solid into our hot, 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 hot water until it doesn't dissolve anymore. And then we have a super saturated solution, a solution that has so much of our solid dissolved inside of it that it can't do anything else but come out, fall out, and form our crystals. Okay, so I have a beaker, right? The way that I kind of help you all, my students, remember this is a beaker. This looks like a beak. Okay, a beaker is a very special measuring device. Typically, it's would be glass. If I was working in the labs that help develop vaccines and medicines and so forth, usually use glass. Okay, because glass things don't stick to glass as easily as they do plastic. But we use plastic with you all because glass can break. All right, but you see this shape, that beak shape, that is kind of a way to remember that you have a beaker. All right, so you don't need a beaker at home, but you just need some type of large container. And then I'm going to grab a spoon. I'll grab one of these large jumbo craft sticks, or sometimes they're called tongue depressors. I've got a cup. And then another cup, we're going to do 2 different cups, and then we've got some paper clips as well. And you're thinking to yourself, a paper clip? Did she say she was making a solution? What she need a paper clip for? Well, you will see later what our paper clip will be used for. So like I said, we need these things, but let's put them to the side because we don't need them in this particular step just yet. The next thing I'm going to put to the side is one of my cups, because again, I don't need it for this particular part of my process. And then now this I will label borax. Today for our solid, we are going to use borax. Now I know you may have heard bad or good things about borax. You know what I mean? You may have heard different things, but borax is actually a naturally occurring chemical. And it makes really pretty and actually quite quick crystals. Because sometimes, like if you use sugar, if you were to do this with sugar, which you can, if you were to do this with salt, which you can, it would take a bit longer to form. But with borax, we can do it quite quickly. Okay? And as you see, it's this white powder. And if you're wondering, well, but Miss Steph, I don't know where to find borax. Borax is a detergent booster. So it's actually in the laundry aisle a lot of times. And you see it's this powder. You notice I'm using a lot of it because remember, super saturated. Super saturated, meaning I'm going to try to put as much of this powder, get it to dissolve inside of the hot water that I'm going to use. I've got some borax, and notice I labeled my cup, of course. Hot, 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 hot water. And I'm making my water very, very hot by using an electric tea kettle today. An electric tea kettle. Okay. Electric tea kettle. And it's actually still kind of boiling, coming to a boil, so I'll leave that. The next thing we need to do is do one of my favorite steps. Come on, y'all know what it is. Adding color. What makes life better? And would I do anything without food? I mean, come on now. You've been watching for a while. You know I'm not going to do anything without color. Yes, yes, yes. Going to do with some color. All right. And that just clicked off. So it's ready for me. So I want to actually move very quickly. Once again, I'm reminding you to make safe choices and to make sure that you have an adult with you when doing this project because we are using hot, hot, hot water. I'm also going to use quite a bit of my purple. Yes, I'm rocking out the purple today. I'm going to use quite a bit of my purple pigment, my purple food coloring. Okay. So I'm adding, this has been rinsed and all that type of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, we are making crystals. We're finishing out our solution series. This is episode 4. In our first episode, we talked about how we could make crystals with a kit. Okay. And then we talked about how we can make solutions and how we can dilute a solution. And we talked about the components, the special science terms for the components of a solution, which are a solute and a solvent, the solid and the liquid. Then last week we kind of explored, okay, so what compounds, what chemicals, what things that might be in my kitchen cabinet will mix in with water and that I can actually call a solution. What can I call a solution? And now today we're actually going to use kind of all of the information that we had before to make our own DIY crystal forming solution. Now, I have inside of this beaker, remember I told you, you see the little beak, that's your hint that it's a beaker. Okay. I have inside of my beaker five drops or globs rather, because it's gel food coloring of my food coloring. I now have my water that has boiled. I'm actually going to do this. As I said before, notice how I didn't just pull that out because I don't want to injure myself or spill water on the other electronics that I have in that corner, by the way. Hello, this is my office. Okay. And I don't want to spill the water on me. Okay, so this is my electric kettle. Make sure you have adult supervision. You see that steam? Lots of steam, meaning it's very hot. Okay, and that's water in gaseous form. Remember, we did the states of matter at the beginning. We did our little states of matter song at the beginning. So that steam is actually water, okay? That's gone from liquid form and is turned into a gas, okay? It's not changing what it is chemically, it's just changing its state of matter. Now, hot, 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 hot water, okay? And now I'm going to add this solid into my liquid water. Remember, I'm making a super saturated solution. Some of you may have noticed that the color of my water has shifted a little bit because borax is actually on the basic side, which is again how, well, not again, we haven't talked about that. We can talk about that another time if y'all would like to do a series on slime. Okay. Borax is basic. Vinegar, as we discussed in our episode 2 of this particular series, vinegar is acidic, okay, and reacts with baking soda. Borax, when you put it into a solution, forms this basic solution. Okay, and that has to do with pH. That's what I'm talking about. Not basic as in simple, but basic as in hydrogen ions. Yes, I know. Silly, goofy scientist joke. But it's fun. All right, you see how I'm mixing. You notice how there's no solid that's falling to the bottom. So this puppy is not a super saturated solution yet. So I'm going to put that there. So we've got enough. No more will fit in, right? No more can dissolve. No more of the powder can dissolve or will dissolve inside of the solution. It's impossible. It stopped. It stopped mixing in and dissolving. So now what we will do is build the apparatus. I like using fun words like that, okay? We're going to build the base. We're going to build the thing that the crystals can latch onto and make friends with, okay? So I have my cup here with my base, the thing that my crystal is going to grow on. We very frequently use metal, okay, for crystals to grow on, right? Anyone have an idea of what kind of candy is made in this fashion? Rock candy is made this way. This is the science behind rock candy. So if you want to make rock candy, obviously you need to be like safely in a food safe area. Boil up some water, and the thing with rock candy is that you do need to be over the stove mixing in the sugar. That's your powder that's going to form the crystals, right? And you make this super saturated solution. And right, rock candy, usually if you eat a piece of rock candy, the middle of it will be either a piece of paper, okay, which is like kind of rolled up, or a piece of like a metal piece. All right, so the other thing that I'm going to do is see if I can use this as a base for my crystals as well. Okay, so that's the one that I just made now with you all, my fabulous scientists. Now it's time for my TV magic. And of course we know it's not magic, it's science. Okay? Now it's time to analyze the results of some other samples that I made. It's not an experiment because I know what was going to happen. I wasn't testing anything. I wasn't comparing. There's not a control situation happening, right? We see that we know that that's not an experiment, okay? We know that it was an activity, and we have different samples that I'm going to show you. I have a total of 4. Remember, this is the one that I kind of like hid. I slid over. So again, we made a super saturated solution, and we're learning about the science behind the crystal forming solution that I used from that National Geographic kit. This is how you can do such things at home. The powders that you can use are the following. There's actually 4. You can use the borax powder, like I showed you. That forms pretty quickly within like just a day. You'll see it's like less than 24 hours. You'll start to see something. You can use salt, just regular table salt, quote unquote table salt, baking soda, and as I mentioned before, to make rock candy or something similar, you can use sugar. Okay, regular like white sugar. Okay, brown sugar doesn't work too well because brown sugar has liquid in it. So that's another conversation. All right, so this one, as you can see, is hard. It's hard for me to kind of grab. This is the equivalent of what I made just now. Okay, so this is what this would look like after about 18 hours, because I made this around 10 o'clock last night. Okay, I made my solution in here, and then I put a stick in, and then similar to what I did over here with the purple one, I poured some of our super saturated solution into a cup. I have my stick that has, get ready, this is going to be cool, that has my paper clip. Okay, so this particular paper clip, as you can see, is shaped slightly differently. Well, not slightly, like quite a bit differently. And do you see those crystals? Okay, those are our crystals. Those are the crystals, and that just formed overnight. And you notice how visually it looks quite different from our powdered borax. So once it gets into the water and starts to come together as crystals on our paper clip, it looks different. Okay, so then I have this piece. I kind of clipped it together because I wanted you to see what it would look like if maybe you don't have a paper clip. Maybe you have large craft sticks. This is what it looks like. So I just put the craft stick down into the cup. And all of that, see that thing that kind of looks like a foot? All of that is crystal. That's all crystal. Do you see it? Isn't that absolutely amazing? I mean, it's so cool to me. These things are exciting to me. That's why I do this job. Science is fun. Now, then I tried it because I wanted you to see what would happen if you used salt. Remember, I told you that salt takes a bit longer and you might need some different techniques going on with salt. So in salt, I put a lot of salt inside of the cup, and I actually made this cup first, and then I poured some of the solution into here. And as you can see, there's some crystallization forming on the paper clip. Okay. And as I'm sure you noticed, there's some crystallization also forming on the cup. Okay. And then this is one that I made, the salt, I left the salt on the bottom, and you can see what happens to the stick. Okay, let me put it closer to you so you can see. See that? All right. So we've just about come up to our half hour together. I try to keep these videos to a half an hour, making sure that you get enough information to try the awesome science/craft activity at home, but also so that you still get to have the rest of your Saturday. All right. So today we made a super saturated solution. Specifically, we made a purple borax super saturated solution. And I showed you some black borax crystals and some yellow salt crystals. All right, y'all. Once again, thank you for watching Science with Miss Steph. This has been our final episode of this particular series of solutions. Okay, we made a super saturated solution with borax. And once again, I appreciate you watching. And if you have any questions or any interest in having me host a virtual event with you and your young scientists, definitely check out the links down below. There'll be links to be able to contact me and ask questions about how. Have an absolutely wonderful Saturday, folks. Be well.